something else.
Something better. Something better. We're trying to make something better every single time we go out.
This is at large Auteur, and today I'm going to be talking about Tana 4, one of the best rap albums out of this year. Super anticipated. Tana 3 was a classic album. I love Benny the Butcher. I love Griselda. I mean, I put out a Mobb Deep album for this one. The only other album I would put this out for is God Don't Make Mistakes, because of drum work was so dope and so similar to Shook One's. And we're back to the Griselda roots. After God Don't Make Mistakes, we're with Benny, and he's talking about dealing drugs again. But it's relevant to his position now. It's in hindsight, and he's talking about it with a lot of context in where he is now. He even talks about what happened in Houston. Johnny P. Caddy was a huge track. I don't need to talk too much about that. That's already been analyzed to death because of J. Cole's presence on the track. I mean, no MC equal, all that. Doesn't apply to Benny. Benny, I think, even showed up J. Cole on that a little bit. But I'm going to move through the tracks. Stove God Cooks is just too good on Back Back. I want him on every Griselda project. I want him on all the hooks. It's interesting, Benny says that his style is Boldy James mixed with Pac. That's pretty interesting. It's weird that he would claim that Boldy influence. I feel like Boldy's heavily influenced by Boldy now is heavily influenced by Earl. So that's a weird, it's a weird influence. It's a weird reference. But Benny always gives credit where credit is due. That's pretty dope. He always talks about Pac though, so that wasn't surprising. Super Plug goes super hard, a bubbling beat. A lot of these beats are really bubbly. That was also a theme of Tana 3, kind of up-tempo. 10 More Crack Commandments, reference to the great Biggie Smalls. And it was just a dope song giving out a lot of game. Benny gives out a lot of game normally, but this was him just giving out just all game, 10 points. So, and it's updated for modern times. I mean, he mentioned social media. And look at what happened to Young Thug. They have used social media to bury him and Gunna. So that's a very, very relevant line. If you're a gangster, or especially a gangster rapper, Biggie's 10 Crack Commandments and Benny's 10 More Commandments is an essential listen. Because these people have ruining their lives not listening to this type of advice. And Benny always gives out a lot of game. All of Griselda does. I love the concept of Tyson versus Ali. This is almost a song I would make because Ali is a huge inspiration to me. So is Mike Tyson. Ever since I heard that You Got song on Wu-Tang Forever where he samples Mike Tyson on Train Trestle, oh my god, I've wanted to make a whole album sampling Ali. It'll have to be a mixtape. It's going to come out one day. I actually have 5 or 6 just homebrew songs that I can't release that are just pure Ali samples and beats, and I just flip it Ali's a rapper. I mean, he damn near invented rap. So I'm surprised more people haven't remixed him. It's probably really I know it's a sacred intellectual property. Ali was very important as a civil rights leader and just as a human rights leader. So I don't know about that. Maybe I'll put that out for promotion or something. And then Conway Never Misses. He's talking about messing up the hood with his drugs and that they're the illest for 10 years or more, probably illest in the past 20 years, not even gonna lie. Not a fan of Uncle Bun. When I saw them live, Benny asked what songs he wants people to hear, and everybody yelled out this one, so it's kind of confusing to me. I think the song's kind of lackluster. But people like 38 Special. I don't hate on anybody, but 38 Special is probably one of my least favorite rappers in this movement right now. I just don't like his flow, but my friends do, and I know a lot of people who love 38 Special, so I'm not saying he's a bad rapper, just not for me. I don't like his flow. I like the trumpet beat on Thowie's Revenge, super good energy, almost reminded me of a Del the Funky Homo Sapien beat with the rhythm of it. Made me want to start two-stepping, it was really dope. I mean, when I listened to this album the first time, I listened to it at the midnight it dropped, and I got up off my feet and paced around this entire album. This just put me right back into where I was when I was a teenager, and then it brought me into this nowadays. It contextualized it all into where we are now, but also put me into that mindset that I had when I was a teenager. So I just love this album. Billy Joel has a lot of good lines. Won't sell another brick till I learn sign language. I like that one. And the tracks, I think this track kind of slows down when Benny does the hook. I just think that this, not that Benny's not good at doing hooks, but that part of it kind of killed the song a little bit for me. They should have got like Stove God in to do the hook like he did on Back Back. They should just use Stove God for all their hooks at this point. Or Benny just should tap in other rappers for the hooks. He's good at hooks, but it just didn't feel fluid for me, and that's the only thing on this album where I feel like Benny didn't deliver a 10 out of 10 performance. It was like an 8 out of 10 hook. So it just didn't live up to the quality. I took a whole page of notes on Guerrero. Super underrated song. Guerrero is a hit to me. It's a great song. Listen to that one if you're not going to listen to any songs on this album. Obviously, Johnny P's Caddy's probably the most popular. But Guerrero is one of my favorite Griselda songs, period. And if anybody in Griselda's listening to me, this is the shit I like. This is the shit that people that listen to a lot of hip-hop, that have been there since Company Flow, listening to all these albums every Friday, this is that fresh shit. This is the shit we want to hear. This is the avant-garde shit. And I just love it's just a super bubbly avant-garde beat. I love how he references all the tracks on Tana Talk 3. And then West Side comes in, and West Side steals this album for me. West Side's one of my favorite rappers. The more I listen to Griselda, the more I enjoy and appreciate a West Side Gun verse. And it just reminds me of Puri Puri. Millworth and Jules, bitch, I'm still here. I felt that in my soul. Like, I love that line. When I heard that the first time, I had to go back and repeat the song just to hear that a second time. I couldn't even go further. And then he says, my dope spot got 2 Van Goghs in it. That's one of the dopest lines in any rap song, period, in my opinion. The image of that, like, you sold so much dope that you got Van Goghs in your crack house, like, in the trap house, like, that blew my mind when I heard that. That was the flyest shit I've ever heard in a rap song so far. I'm a big art fan, though, so I don't know. Stove's hot, rolls chopped, got chalked up when the pole shot. We sold work, a whole lot. Fiends dancing, doing the wop. Stupid made my phone hot. Linda sniffed and did the robot. West's pauses, his flow, his lyricism is just unmatched. I don't know. Like, he's so concise. He's so, like, he never goes for the obvious rhyme. He almost always alludes to a possible rhyme. Like, there should have been, like, rock in there somewhere, and he didn't use the word rock. He somehow got through that whole thing without the, like, let me repeat that. Stove's hot, rolls chop, get chalked up when the pull shot. We sold work, a whole lot. Fiends dancing, doing the wop. Stupid made my phone hot. Linda sniffed and did the robot. Like, it could have been Linda sniffed a rock and did the robot. But just the way he raps is so fluid, and the pauses he takes, oh my god. Just, that shit is perfect. That's a perfect song. And I like Busta Brick's Nick beat. It's like another just super bubbly beat, and I like how it kind of changes subtly from Benny's first to a second verse. It like shifts a little bit. They do something with the timing. It just sounds a little different. I like that. I wonder if it was directed at Freddie when he said, next time you sneak diss me, I'll just pay me, I'll write the hook. That sounds like it's directed at Freddie. And how you gonna call me Hollywood when I've never been? I like that line. And then the ending is kind of somber and serious. I fed my team by bringing them work. I like that line. And then one of his last lines is, they can't believe I made my money off music like I'm still dropping off units. That's pretty dope. And I love the shout out to Khan and Wes at the end. He always gives roses to his brothers, and I appreciate that. And the ending kind of just sounds like it goes off into space. So that's pretty cool. Like, it literally sounds like some Flying Lotus satellite shit. Like, he's just zooming through the atmosphere into, like, the universe. So yeah, it's hard for me to say too much about this. Tana Talk 3, a classic album. This is a great follow-up. I feel like I hit all the points I wanted to hit. I think Guerrero is an underrated track. I don't want that one to go unnoticed. There's too many good underrated Griselda tracks. It's almost like they put out too much music for it to stick with everybody. But this one stuck with me. And I definitely do want to go back and review Tana Talk 3. That's a great album. And this is just an exciting album. Griselda's kind of starting to get to where they're talking about drug dealing in the past tense and starting to articulate their actual real life situation more, and I think that's pretty dope. So people who say they're just drug rap are really not taking into account who they are and what they represent and that they really came from this stuff. I mean, I was heavily involved in the difficulties of growing up as a kid in these types of situations. And from what I understand, Benny's family are real gangsters. So I had some real gangsters in my family. I grew up selling drugs and stuff. So I really feel it the way they talk about this stuff. And they've really matured and have like a kind of a meta perspective on the whole thing. Freddie Gibbs is like that too. Conway is extremely like that. And I just enjoy that style. I think people need to be more honest and more 100% themselves and represent and project who they really are out there. And Griselda does that fearlessly. Trains. Fearlessly, though. So I got to give them their props for that. And I think this type of thing is really what changes the world for the better. So that's all I have to say about Tana Talk 4. Flawless album. My only complaints is that the hook wasn't perfect. And that they should have probably had Stove God Cooks do it. But otherwise, perfect album. I mean, he followed up Tana Talk 3, and it didn't disappoint, which is a miracle.